For people that are looking to create the next level of financial abundance or personal abundance in their life, is it a strategy problem or an environment problem?
Mm.
What would you say?
I don't think you can separate them.
You
I
need both.
don't think, yeah, I don't, you know, only in college do you separate the hallways of psychology and sociology. In real life, you can't do that. Every person you're around is some way hitting those mirror neurons and shaping your thoughts, your energies, your belief. And everybody here knows that because everyone here's probably dated a jerk or been in the wrong relationship or had a divorce. And you're like, that person
Right.
like puts you in the wrong state of mind. And what they usually did is they put you in a contemporary state of mind. Because there was drama and conflict, you were locked into a present mode with them versus being around a person who is a coach or a mentor or in a mastermind where you are pushed into what we call progress mode, right? You're like pulled into progress mode, like the tide's going out to a great new location. And I think that people just, it's so hard to say this because we love the self-work, and I'm the self-work guy. I mean, I've written 6 books in self-help. I deeply love that research. I've just found it to be limiting on its own, and worse, I don't know that anyone can have real fulfillment in life without the right people around them. I don't know. Last year
Even if you're introverted and even if you like to be alone, you still are going to interact with people, and you need to be around the right people.
Yeah, I work with, person who's probably in the top 5, 6, 7, let's call it the top 10 golfers in the world. Unbelievable skill, unbelievable swing, unbelievable hunger. Wrong caddy, not the right situation. When I came in, had to replace an agent they were working with. I said, this agent is just cannot even see over a wall for you. It's like you need people who can see over walls for you. And if you don't have that, I'm telling you, that is the gift to buy yourself. Don't go buy the next, stationary bike for your house. Like, invest in being in the right rooms. And I tell people all the time, because they think I'm selling here. Let me just share with everybody. If you want to transform your life, I'll give everybody the free keys. You need to go volunteer in your local community because who is in the volunteer group in the local community?
Leaders.
Yes. Usually the most successful, highest earning people sit on those nonprofit boards, run those associations, help out in the community because they often already made it, or they retired, or they had that servant heart. I'm like, oh, you
want to be around givers.
Yeah, because that's what I did. I moved from Montana to San Francisco to start a corporate job at a company called Accenture. And I was doing change management work there. I moved this big town. I mean, San Francisco is a huge town if you're from the town I was from. Huge. And I didn't know anybody. And the first thing I did is I joined the Kiwanis group. And Kiwanis, meet often, once or twice a month, depending on the Kiwanis group. And, you have your eggs, you have your conversation. People talk about volunteering and service. But everyone there was older than me. They were like a bunch of 60-year-old dudes. And they would just be like, hey, kid, don't do this. Or, hey, kid, do that. And whatever was, the 2 years of that particular group changed me forever because it gave me access to higher thinking. A lot of those guys were in banking.
Right.
I knew nothing about money. I needed your book, Make Money Easy. I needed to read that like 5,000 times. That was not even in the repertoire of my thought process yet. And so getting around that group taught me about money. So that strategy was intertwined with that socializing. I'm here to tell you, the best strategies are socialized. You learn them by talking with other people. Like when we run Mastermind, we don't care that everybody's in the same industry at all. We just want, are you a go-getter? Do you have positive energy? And do you have high aspirations for yourself and other people? If those 3 conditions are totally true, it doesn't matter if you're a podcaster or a banker. Because guess what? They can both learn from each other. And so I think the diversity of your social sphere can also be very empowering.
And it's, I've been in the mastermind world for, I guess, 15 years now, since going to my first one, to going to many of them, to speaking at them, to hosting my own, to having one with you now. I've been in the mastermind world for a long time. And even if it was I think it was 6 years ago, I remember And most of the time I'm getting invited to speak now and different things like that, just like you do. And I decided I was going to pay for one. It was like a weekend mastermind. It was 10 grand. And I was like, I'm just going to go and see if I can learn something from this guy, even though I probably know a lot of what he's already teaching, even though we're in the same industry, even though I'm doing really well already. But I was like, I'm going to pay the money. I'm going to show up for 2 days for the 2-day mastermind. And the people I met in there was just worth the investment.
Right.
And I'm reminded of things by the teachings as well of like, oh yeah, what I'm doing is working. I'm going to keep doing it. And here's a couple things new that I could try that could help accelerate my growth. That's worth it. But just like investing in yourself, when you make an investment in yourself to be in a room, you say, I matter and I'm worthy of being around the right people. I matter and I'm worthy of learning, of developing powerful relationships with big dreamers, with big doers. And when you make that investment, whether it's time, money, or energy into a group, like the Kiwanis group, maybe it was $100 a year or something, right? Or whatever. It's not a big investment, but you invested time and energy.
Yeah.
And you got a massive return. So it doesn't always have to be money to buy into a group, but that's what a lot of people do for college. You buy into a group and you pay 200 grand
I know.
for a piece of paper. That doesn't guarantee you financial success. It doesn't guarantee you the right relationships 10, 20 years down the line when you really need them. Maybe you have a good time in college, and I'm not saying I didn't have a good time, but it's like it guarantees you debt unless someone pays it for you. And you got to find a way to pay that off. And a mastermind is one of the best ways to do it, in my mind, to get to the next level in your life. And I want to ask you, because some people might have a confusion around what is a mastermind? Is it more just like networking? I think we've explained some of it. But what a real mastermind actually is doing, or I would say, what is a real mastermind doing at a psychological and identity level for people when they make the time, energy, or investment to join a group of like-minded or higher achievers than themselves?
Yeah, I thought a lot about this before we started Ultra together, and I want to just like baseline what I'm about to say to people because it will sound offensive. But it took me a long time to figure this out. I've been running masterminds since 2008.
Wow.
And, for most of these years, I've, generated well over 8 figures doing that, just that piece of our business. Like it's been a big part of my life. And I think I had some years where I did them great. And some years I did really bad, like, because I didn't know this difference. So there's some real delineation here. It won't sound good, but I'll share like the true part. Like, I used to think when I first started my masterminds, it was like, oh, I take people places and we have a great time together. I took groups. They were paying $50,000 a year. I took them to the Caribbean. I took them to unbelievable places in New York City and Miami. I rented out yachts, jet helicopters, boats. I mean, I made these extravagant retreat things. I thought it was that.
The adventure mastermind.
I was like, and I did training, but I really thought that, make sure that environment thing is super locked in. I think that's a component. It can be a new experience for people, especially in an AI world. I think that's going to matter.
Yeah.
But I made the mistake. That was too big. I made that such the big part about it. And, I just watched how many people stay over how many years. And then I thought, oh, it really needs, the critical thing here is training. If we can train somebody's mind for a step change in thinking, that's the investment. And you think about if you did go to college, there was, especially if you took philosophy, right? Or political science, or you took a major liberal art that really expanded your brain, you're like, oh, wow, right? Or you went into advanced mathematics. It's like those moments where step changes in big thinking, that was life. That was the aspirational unlock. And so I learned that. And now I'm to the offensive part. And this applies to mastermind, but everybody listening, whether they're ever in a mastermind or not. Most people show up each day as their minimal self. So this is an identity conversation, and this is where I'm saying, this might sound offensive, and I don't want people to discount me because I'm using this phrase, but I hope you'll stick with me. People show up as their minimal self. They show up and they kind of go through the motions of the day. They're in stimulus and response. What shows up? How do I respond to it? Even if they try to show up and respond to it really well, they're kind of locked into that position of today, the contemporaneous, how do I handle this? Even if I'm trying to be peaceful, how do I handle this? But most people throughout their day, because there's this human thing called homeostasis, we kind of fall back to the level of just average.
Mm-hmm.
We fall back to level of what, if we had the power and the guts to say, kind of mediocre, it just means in that moment, we weren't being intentional beyond stimulus and response. We weren't being aspirational.
Yeah.
In other words, we didn't turn ourselves on. We didn't summon the best of who we are intentionally. And so even if what we did was good, we weren't in the right headspace to be aspirational. There's a minimal self, show up, do the bare minimum, even if you're good. But then there's the aspirational self. Like asking, what would the aspirational self do? And I'll give it like real world example outside of masterminds. But a mastermind has to achieve this with a person. A mastermind has to achieve a percentage change of how people show up from a minimal self to an aspirational self. We know about strategies, business, money, all that all day long. But if we don't achieve that, that's the unlock in a mastermind. I used to spend this percentage of a time in going through the motions guy, in dealing with life as it came guy, and I went a step change in intention and aspirational living. And it can be as simple as this. You have date night with Marta. Well, after a day of all this running an empire, it'd be easy to show up in the being state of the person who ran an empire that day. Maybe you were energized and stressed that day, or maybe you were just like wiped the F out.
Yeah.
But most people, they show up to handle things. So I or you show up at date night to handle, okay, we're date night. When you become extraordinary, when you reach greatness in your life, there's a beat where you take a step back and you are not in stimulus and response at all. You're in high intention aspiration. You're like, what would make tonight an aspirational date night? Look,
Not just going through the motions.
Restaurants already chosen, but you see it all the time in movies, right? There's the couple in the movie sitting at dinner. There's other people sitting around them. But at some point, one of them gets up and now they're dancing around their table. And everyone else is looking, oh my God, that's so beautiful. We used to dance.
Yeah.
So there's a magic element that you chose consciously to make that an aspirational date, not a normal date, not even just a good, like something happened. So if you shift a person into that in their personal life and their business life, take them from a minimal self. And I want to say that a minimal self does not mean there's something missing, and minimal self does not mean there's something bad with you. It's literally a homeostatic state. Human beings experience it. It's not bad.
The least resistance, the most
least resistant. We're built that way in some ways to have a comfortable flow. And I don't want you to lose comfort. I just want you to be more percentage of time in an aspirational state. And I've learned this from you big time. I just want to give a shout out. Like last time Lewis and I were hanging out, guys, I had just done this big major media thing and I super bombed. Like I was bad. And I left that situation and I came and I sat with Lewis and Matt and I told them I bombed. I was like so bad at this interview. It was bad. And Lewis was like laughing and jovial with me. But the first thing went to my mind was remembering us on stage and seeing how you're always Lewis Howes, but there's a magic you're able to do here that has opened me several times in our conversations. Like people can go watch it on the internet. I don't do interviews very good. It's like, I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
I'm not used to being, I'm a very poor subject. But you unlock me because you quote unquote turn on.
Yes. Yeah.
And when
it's intentional too.
You intentionally turn on.
It's intentional.
You intentionally show up for those babies.
Yes.
You intentionally show up for Marta.
Yes.
Because you have an aspirational self that says, I'm not just going to go with my state of being right now. I have a view of a great man. I want to be a great man. So let me behave from that.
Yes.
Getting around the right people who have aspirational self as a core philosophy, what I call a dominant psychological frame. When you're around someone who has a dominant psychological frame that they want to live into their highest and best aspirational self, that's rare. Get around those people.
Yes.
Get in rooms with those people. I don't care if it's volunteering or paying mastermind or going to a conference. Get around those people because it will open you to a future.
It
dude,
is.
It's life.
It is.
That's life.
Proximity is power. And who you spend time with in your intimate relationship, your friends, and your family, how much you spend time with them, whether they bring you life or they suck the life out of you. It's powerful, or it can be disempowering as well, of who you're in proximity with. And I'd love for us to do a proximity audit activity together
Cool.
real quick. And this would be a real life, real time proximity audit of our lives. We'll do it quick. It doesn't have to be so deep or anything, but I would like to give people watching or listening this kind of 3-prompt exercise to do at home as well, as a takeaway for this, to get them thinking about the powerful relationships or the disempowering ones in their life currently, to see what's holding them back and what they need to invest into to launch them forward as well. So I'll have us each do this. There's 3 quick prompts, and the first one is, it can't be each other.
Okay.
Who is one person who expanded your thinking in this last year? One person, maybe it's someone known, someone not known, but first person that comes to mind, who is one person that expanded your thinking this year? Not me.
My wife, Denise.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's been that steady, expansive force in my life for so long. She expands my thinking because she wants so much for me, which is, what a gift. You and I both have wives like that.
Yes.
They want so much for us. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do this deal. She's like, you're worth more than that. She's expanded my thinking so much in health, to stay healthy. She expanded my thinking in, we have timelines. You and I building empires, we have like a timeline when something might happen.
Yes.
She's like, why can't that happen sooner? Why does that idea take 5 years? And there's no pressure to it. It's just expansive. Like, wow, it's Elon Musk's famous thing. It's like, well, if you think it takes 6 years, why can't it be done in 6 months?
Yeah.
When someone does that to you, and time becomes a forcing mechanism.
It's why can't it be done, and what would need to happen for this to be done in half the time than what you originally thought.
That's right.
You need to be around more people like that.
That's right.
Who tell you those questions, who push you and say, sure, if it takes 6 years, fine. But if you had to do it in 6 months, what would need to happen? And maybe you don't want to do what needs to happen in 6 months. Maybe it requires too much time or energy, or you got to get an investor or whatever it is. And you're like, I'd rather not do it that fast if it means doing this.
Yes.
But what if it was easier? What was faster? What if it came quicker and you didn't have to work as hard?
Yes.
What would need to happen?
Yes.
Those types of questions are what someone that you're in the right proximity with, you want to be around them more.
Yeah.
So your wife, Denise, is the one person who expanded your thinking this year.
Can I jump on that one?
Go ahead.
Because I love what you said. I actually want to watch that clip like 10 times, what you just said. Because there's so many definitions in it are vital. I hope someone will rewind what Louis just did there. That was great. I want to jump on it because I just want to tell people, if you've had the right business coach, if you're an entrepreneur, or you've been in the right rooms, you can recall a time when somebody gave a strategy or an idea that doubled your business.
Yes.
And made it more elegant.
Yes. Easier. Effortless.
If you've never doubled your business or became more elegant because somebody told you that strategy, it means you've never had the right coach, never had the right strategy, or never been in the right room. You might be super smart, but if no one's ever handed that to you, wrong rooms most of your life. Like doubling your business was like an awful slog or a genius luck moment.
And here's the thing, it's like the power of a mastermind, the person that you're choosing to be in mastermind with, whether it's the person you're investing in or the group of people, they don't have to have all the answers for you also. They don't have to be the one that's like, they've already done everything you want to do and they have to have all the answers. I'm not going to say the person's name, but there's a guest I've had on a few times who's a billionaire. And when he was around, I don't know, $500 million in his business, I was like, I've never been a billionaire. I don't know what that feels like. But I just said, what would it take for you to get to $1 billion, from $500 million to $1 billion? Because he had a plan for like a few years out. I go, what would it take for you to do it in the next 6 months? I literally said this question. And he got really frustrated with me. It's just not possible right now. He just kind of gets squirmy and frustrated. Like, well, no, he couldn't think about how to make it possible. And I was just like, if you had to make it possible, what would need to happen? Just brainstorm with me. This is almost a billionaire and I'm not at that level. And he goes, wow, you just can't. And I go, come on. Really, you can't? You've already gone to $500,000. You can't do this? Like, what if you had to? What would need to happen? And just that question got him thinking, well, I'd have to make a call to this person. I'd have to get more courageous with this person and ask them for this. I'd have to go do these many more deals and I have to unlock this thing. And I go, okay, well, could you do that in 6 months? He's like, yeah, I could. Literally, I think it was maybe 8 or 9 months later, he had $1 billion in his business
Wow.
from taking these actions. And again, I didn't know how to do the strategy.
Right.
I didn't know how to execute what he was doing,
Right.
but I just asked the right question for him to see a bigger, more powerful possible future that he hadn't yet seen in that timeline. And I think that is the key, like you just said, is being around people that are willing to ask you those questions. Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.